What's up, Internet? My name is Michael Cook, and this is Blue Giant Media. We're here to help you find, learn, and play the games that you love. Today, we've got 7 Wonders Duel up. We're going to set it up, we're going to play through a couple rounds, we're going to feel for how the game plays, how long it takes to set up, so you can maybe set up the game that you either just got or checked out from a library. We're going to feel for how long it actually takes to set it up and how the rules work, so you can decide if it's something that you want to add to your library. Either way, let's ready, set, play. Seven Wonders Duel is a drafting game in which you will, instead of passing cards back and forth like you would normally do in a drafting game, you're going to be taking turns having certain cards available for you to choose from. And those cards are going to change based off of the cards that you choose each round. So to start the game, we're going to set up by putting this board between the two players so that it can be a visual representation of how close your army is getting to each other's capitals. The first game that you play recommends that you have one player play with Statue of Zeus, the Pyramids, the Great Lighthouse, and the Temple of Artemis, while the other player is going to use the Appian Way, Piraeus, Circus Maximus, and the Colossus. If you choose not to use the starting setup, though, you're going to make 4 cards available of these wonders. The starting player will choose 1, the next player will choose 2, and then the starting player chooses 1. Then the next 4 come out. This time the second player chooses 1, first player chooses 2, and the second player gets the last one. But we'll just go ahead and stick with what is recommended for the first play. Then we are going to take the coins. You can set them to the side. We will grab the first wonder or first age cards. We will shuffle them up, take 3 out and put them in the box. The rest are going to be set up in this fashion. So the first age, you're going to start at the top when the white-faced cards are face up and the shaded faces are face down in each of the different ages. So for the first age, it's going to go kind of a pyramid, small ones, starting with the small at the peak and wide at the bottom. So these ones will be available to choose at the beginning. The second age is going to go flip-flop the other way. The third age is going to go 2 face up, 3 face down, 4 face up, 2 face down, 4 face up, 3 face down, and 2 face up, kind of making 2 separate avenues of approach there. So we will go ahead and do that. So we'll do 2 face up, 3 face down, oops, there we go, 4 face up, 5 face down, and 6 face up. Alright. Next thing we will do, and we can go ahead and do that for the second age as well. Go ahead and shuffle them up. Take 3 cards out, return them to the box, set the other ones aside for the next age. And then for the third age, you will take, again, 3 cards of the lighter shade of purple. And you will take them out, put them in the box. Then take 3 of the cards marked with a G. These are the guilds. You will shuffle them up, take 3, add them in here, and then mix them up. And set them aside. So removing the cards is to make it so you can't predict exactly which cards are going to be involved and which ones are not. These guild cards are going to be mixed in. What they do is at the end of the game they're going to give you points based off of which player has the most of a certain color. So regardless of who takes the card, as soon as it's played, this one says that whoever has the most red cards, you'll count them up, and the person who bought this card will get a coin for each red card that that player has. And at the end of the game, you will look and see who has the most red cards, count them up, and the owner of this card will get 1 point for each of the red cards that that player has at the end of the game. Each one of them is based off of a color of card or number of wonders constructed or different things like that, and they are all described on the back, right here at the top of this and right in here. Okay, we'll then take these little covers. They will cover up some segments here, showing that when you advance your military token into those regions, so if I go 1, 2, and I'm going to move 1 space on these for each shield of a red card that I collect. When I move across this dashed line here, my opponent will have to lose 2 coins immediately, and if I stay in this region at the end of the game, I will get 5 points. So the symbol with the wreath is always points. If I progress across this dashed symbol here, the opponent will have to lose 5 coins. If I'm still in here at the end of the game, I will get 10 points. And if you progress all the way across this dashed line, the game stops and immediate victory happens. Sudden victory by military conquest. So that's how this is going to be working. Then you're going to take 5 of these 10 different science tokens, mix them up, choose 5, put the rest back in the box. Set them out here face up. I will explain in a little bit how you will be able to get these. Okay, so I mentioned one way to win the game was to progress your military to your opponent's capital. Another way that you're going to win is at the end of the 3rd age, whoever has the most points wins. And you will total up points by the blue cards, and you'll tally up how many points you have in the wreath symbol. Your green cards that you have, again, tallying up points in the wreath symbol. Same thing for yellow and for purple. Same thing looking at your completed stages of your wonder. Count up the points in the wreath symbol. If you have any of these tokens that have points on them, get those. At the end of the game, every set of 3 coins is worth a point. So this would be 1 point, still 1 point, still 1 point, now it's 2 points. And then, based off of where you are on this track, the person who is in the lead on the military is going to get a certain amount of points. You'll total up all those points, and the most points at the end of the game is going to win at the end of the 3rd age. You can win through military conquest, and you can also win through scientific conquest. You'll see these green cards here have different symbols on them. There are 7 different symbols in the game, but if you collect 6 different symbols, then you win through a scientific victory. You blind your opponent with science, and they yield to your great brilliance or whatever. So that is those are the 3 different ways you can win. So now we are almost set up. Last thing we're going to do is take 7 coins, and now we are ready to play. So once you assign a start player, which for the sake of argument, I'm just going to say it's me, that first player is going to choose one of the cards that is face up and uncovered. So if at any point some of these cards are partially covered, you cannot take them until they are face up and uncovered. These cards that are face down, as soon as both they are completely uncovered, then the card will get turned over and it's face up. So I have a choice of one of these 6 cards. So the brown cards and the gray cards give you resources that you can have at your disposal. So those are pretty good to get. I'll go ahead and start by grabbing this one right here. And this one is free to play. I can tell that because there's no symbol on the left just underneath the brown part at the top. This one right here also has a bundle of wood, but shows a 1 coin symbol here. That means it costs 1 coin to play this card. I will choose to play the one that does not take a coin, and when I get cards, I will usually just keep them in a stack. These will be all my brown and grays since they serve the same function of giving me resources. Then I'll put all my yellows, all my greens, all my reds, etc. in columns so that it's easy to keep track of them. So that would be my turn, then it would go to your turn. So you could go ahead and say, oh, well, maybe I want to have access to wood as well. But if you do take this card, it will reveal this one, which gives me a little bit more choices on my turn. So maybe you say, well, even though that's there, maybe I don't want that card. Maybe you want a different card. So all of the ones that are here right now cost a certain number of coins. But some of them are going to cost resources, and when you do not have those resources, there will be a way to get those resources. So if I wanted to, later on in the game, get this card right here that costs 1 brick. I don't have any brick. Well, I can choose to pay 2 coins per resource that I want to get that I don't have. The only time that changes is if you choose to maybe, let's go ahead and say you do that, you're going to pay 1 coin on your turn to get this brick. So let's say now later in the game I'm trying to build this, I don't have brick, you do. For every brick that you have, I have to pay 1 more. So if you had 2 bricks, instead of paying 2 coins, I would pay 4 coins. 2 for the basic cost, plus 1 for each brick that you have. And then those would all go to the bank. They do not go to your opponent. So that's how you're going to pay for things that you cannot afford or don't have the resources for. So now it'll come back to me, and this is one of the interesting things in the game. Right now, if I were to grab this, it would reveal a card. If I were to grab this, it would reveal 2 cards. If I were to grab this one, it would reveal a card. So maybe I choose to grab this one to force you to... So I pay my 2 coins, and this just has 1 science symbol on it. And you'll also see that it has a picture of a book here. What that means is that in the second age, there is going to be, possibly, because it could have gotten taken out, there's going to be a card that, and here it is, next to its cost, I can either pay a stone, wood, and glass, or if I have this card, I get to play it for free. So that's how you can chain from one card to the next to play this card later on for free. The other thing that can happen is if you do get 2 science symbols that are identical. So I mentioned that you can win the game if you get 6 different science symbols. But if you get 2 science symbols that are the same, then you're going to get to take one of these tokens. And they do various different things that are all going to be explained on the nice rules reference sheet here, which I recommend you keep close by. So even if you get a duplicate, it may not be... it may not give you that much progress towards winning the game by sudden victory, although this one right here counts as any science symbol of your choice. So this could ultimately give you that 6th, which would be very nice. But anyway, I'll go ahead and build this one in hopes of either possibly getting that second one and getting one of these nice tokens that do lots of different nice things, or I could just go for 6 different symbols. But either way, getting that card right now means that as it comes to you, any card that you take is going to reveal more cards that I will have to choose from. So, since I already have wood, and nobody has any stone, you could get this one and it would reveal 1 and it would give you access to some wood as well. You could get this one, which there's no stone available now, and what it says that you get to do is no matter how many you need and no matter how many I have, stone would only cost 1 coin for each stone that you need. So it costs 3 up front, but it's going to save you a lot more money on the back side. And since you uncovered both of these cards, they are now both available to take. Then it's going to come back to me. So I have now the ability to choose, maybe I want that one. So I can take that card, and again, like I said, I usually stack the brown and the gray together because they both serve the same function of they give you resources. Then it'll come back to you, and maybe you want to make some progress towards military. So if you buy a military card, it just advances 1 space here per shield that is depicted on the card. Then it's going to come to me, and let's see here. Well, I am going to go ahead and pay the 1 coin to have some extra here, and that will reveal this card. Then it's going to come to you. Maybe now you might say it's kind of nice to have a monopoly on this this stone here. By taking this and this, you make it so I do not have as much of an option there. So that works out well for you. It'll come back to me, and let's see here. Well, I will now show you there are 3 different things you can do with a card. So I've only shown you taking a card and playing it, paying its cost. But let's say you don't want to pay the cost of a card. let's say you want to, maybe you're short on coins. You can take a card and you can discard it. If you choose to discard it, then you will get 2 coins plus 1 for every yellow card that you have. So if I discard a card, I'm going to get 2 coins. So instead of paying the brick, I discard it, take 2 coins. If this was you, instead of playing that, if you discarded it, you would get 3 coins. 2 for the basic cost, plus 1 because you have 1 yellow card. So if at the end of the game you've got 3 yellow cards, you're going to get 5 coins every time you choose to just discard a card. So that's one thing that I could do. 2 coins is not a whole lot though. I could do kind of what you've done and buy this and really have a monopoly on the wood, making you have to pay a lot of money whenever you want it. But that would also make me run out of money completely. So the question then becomes, is that really worth it to me? Maybe instead of doing that, I just take the card, deny you the ability to get it by discarding it, and take 2. It's what they call a hate draft. Alright, now it's going to come to you, and you have some of these resources, so you can build a blue card. Blue cards always just give you points. So you have the stone, so you can build it for free, and blue cards usually have a way to chain for more cards later on as well. So then it's going to come back to me. Now I really want some stone. It'll come back over to you, and to make this a little bit easier, I'm going to kind of make an ill-advised decision a little bit. So now it's going to come back to me. So I can take a card here, and I'm going to show you the other thing you can do. So I could either build this for free because I have wood, I could discard it for 2 cards, or you can also use one of these cards to be a placeholder. You can take it, and so I have 1, 2, 3 of these resources. This card shows that, this wonder shows that it needs 2 wood, which I have, 1 stone, which I have, and 1 brick, which I do not have, and you have 1. So instead of paying the normal 2, I have to pay 3 to the bank. Then I take the card and ignore what the card is completely, other than maybe I take a card that you wanted. But once you've chosen it, it does not matter anymore. I will now take that card and I put it under here to mark that I have built that stage of the wonder. And what it's going to let me do in this case, it gives me the choice each round of having either a paper or a glass. And it also lets me take another turn. So this is one of the times when, if there's a situation, this is actually a poor time for me to do it because it's going to make it so I reveal more cards for you, but that can be something that is done in the other direction, where maybe there was a situation where I did not want to reveal a card that I wanted so badly because then you might get it or keep me from getting it. So I can do something like this, build my wonder, and take an immediate second turn so that I can get the card that I want, or keep you from getting the card that you want. So the cards, the wonders that give you the ability to take another turn can be very powerful by changing the order of turn, or the turn order. So those are the 3 things you can do with a card. You can discard it for coins, you can play it under your wonder, paying the cost of the wonder and ignoring what the card is completely, or you can pay the cost of the card itself and play it. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish out this, this age and show how the next age begins. So real quick, like, it's gonna, so I get a second turn over here. I will go ahead and get this. Pay a coin. That reveals 2 cards for you though. Then on your turn, maybe you say, well, I want to get some more military. That moves you closer towards me. Comes to me, and I'm going to go for lots of science. So that is going to give me 1 point and a second science symbol, but this one does not chain. It'll come back to you. You're going to get 3 more points and the ability to chain. I'm going to take this card now, and maybe I want to, I don't have any coins really though. I can't afford that one. I can almost afford this one, but I just need a couple more coins. So I'm going to discard that for 2 more coins, which is going to be just enough if I'm, yep, that'll be good. Okay, then it's going to come to you. You do not have either of those symbols. So you'll go ahead and pay 2 coins so that you can build that one. And then it'll come to me, and I could now build stage of my wonder. If I built this one, this symbol right here says that you have to lose a great card, which you don't have anyway. I would get a military and 3 points. So maybe I'll hold off on that one, besides the fact that now I have 3 of 6 possible different science symbols. Okay, now we're at the end of the first age. So I built one stage of my wonder. One other thing to consider is there can only be 7 wonders. So as soon as one player builds 4 of them, then the other player knows that they can only build 3. So once they've built their third, you can take the 4th one and just flip it face down because it's not going to be completed. So you don't want to sit there face up taunting you and making you feel inept or I don't know what. So now we're going to take the next set of cards and we will set them up like depicted here. So this time we will have 6 face up at the top. And you always start at the top on the left and move across with each row. So there is 6, then we go 5 face down, again starting from the left. Then we come across, and then 3 face down, and 2 face up. Now, the person who is losing on military gets to choose which player goes first. So now let's say there was a situation where I didn't like either one of these. I could say, oh no, you're going first, because I don't want to. Or I can say, oh, I want those, I'm going to go first. In this case, I would probably go first because I can pay 2 coins. I have the glass, and this can give me the paper. So I can build this one, which gives me the ability to play 1 resource of my choice of the wood, brick, or stone. And it also is a yellow one, making it so whenever I discard cards for coins, I get more coins. So that's good on both counts. And then it reveals 1 for you. And as you can see, the cost of these cards get more in the second age and more in the third age. The cards get more powerful. Now we have 2 symbols for these resources. We start to see bigger amounts of points, bigger amounts of coins, 2 military symbols. So everything kind of snowballs a little bit. You tend to get more points. You're going to get probably 70–80% of your points during age 3. Age 1 and 2 are really setting the stage for that, unless someone manages to get that sudden scientific victory. All right, so you will go ahead and play through until one player wins. I've explained blue cards. I have explained green cards. I've explained yellow cards, and purple cards I mentioned briefly at the beginning. Wonders, I've mentioned how they are constructed and that you can only build 7 total. The science tokens, that you get those if you have 2 of the same symbol, then you get to choose an additional token. And how money works for points at the end of the game, and how military can work. So I think that will pretty much do it. We can stop here. You will play through either to the end of the third age or until someone wins prematurely with science or military. That should give you a pretty good idea of how to set up and play through 7 Wonders Duel, published by Repos Production and designed by Antoine, Bauza, and Bruno Cathala, 2 of the true giants in the board game industry today. If you have any other questions about the game, maybe there's some rules that I missed, maybe there's some rules that I just completely said wrong, or you just have other questions about the game, please let me know in the comment section below. Likewise, if you've got any video ideas, games that you want me to do setup, unboxing, playthrough, any kind of thing, comparisons, let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to have a dialogue with you in any way, shape, and form. And if you're looking for where to buy 7 Wonders Duel, keep an eye on the links for a link in the description section to macronovagames.com. While you're there, you'll also find a link to my review for 7 Wonders Duel. Until next time, I want to thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like what you see, and as always, have a wonderful day.